Friday afternoon. Welcome to the Voice of Ocala. I am Tom Schmitz, coming to you as I do always from the palatial studios of WOCA Radio, just outside the food court entrance to the Paddock Mall in the Brick City Beautiful, Ocala, Florida, inside of one of the best counties you could live in, Marion County. It is Ask the Cops. This week it is the Sheriff's Department's turn on Ask the Cops as we rotate weekly between the Ocala Police Department and the Marion County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Chris Blair on his way in, but I am honored to have in here Sergeant Clint Smith. He is with the Cold Case Unit. Sergeant, good afternoon to you.
Good afternoon.
You know, your department is one of the most fascinating departments to me, and for two reasons. One, CBS did a lot to bring attention to cold cases in a way that television and movies happen to do. I tell this story all the time. I became a NASCAR fan because I just thought it was guys going in a circle. They ended up the same place they started. What's the big deal?
Yeah.
Then I watched Days of Thunder. So I got very excited about NASCAR, but then after getting into NASCAR, I realized Days of Thunder was complete horse manure, but it got me attracted to Days of Thunder.
Yeah.
I got attracted to cold cases because CBS had a show called Cold Case. Now, they would solve a 20-year-old cold case in about an hour, about 55 minutes, because all of a sudden they'd get DNA processed in 2 hours in the lab.
Exactly.
You know? So then I started reading about cold cases on the internet and stuff and how they got solved and all. And then you realize the TV show was just that, a TV show, that there's a lot of frustration and a lot of work that goes into cold cases. But it's a very fascinating thing because what people may not realize is murder has no statute of limitation. Those kind of cases have no kind of statute. So what was it that brought you? Now, that's why I'm interested in cold cases, and I read about them all the time, but what is it that brought you to cold case?
You know, I always had a fascination as detective. You know, when I got hired at the sheriff's office, they asked me, well, what's your goal? And it was always, I want to be a detective. And, you know, so I went up through the ranks. You know, I started off as a detective in, SVU, and then I went to robbery, and then I eventually went to homicide. And I kind of found my niche in homicide. I just enjoyed it. And I did a good job, I think. And, I eventually got promoted.
Enjoyed your job. You don't enjoy homicide.
No. I enjoyed my job, yeah.
Let's clear that up, because somebody will ring the phone and say,
oh, my goodness.
Just say he enjoys homicides? No, he enjoyed the work he did in homicide.
Correct. And so, eventually I moved on, and the sheriff created this position at the cold case unit.
Right.
And he brought me back. The goal behind it was we have these victims, right? And they're not just, some file that we put away in a drawer. They're a person. They're your father, your mother, your sister, your brother. And they still have loved ones out there that care about them, and they want answers. So what are we doing about it? And we did two things. In 2005, the sheriff created, when he was a major over the Major Crimes Unit, created the Cold Case Volunteer Unit. And what they do is we have volunteers from, attorneys, judges, former law enforcement, and they review these cases and they come up with ideas.
Guys and girls that are retired that say, you know what, we'd still like to help out.
Yes.
And that's how, I remember the sheriff, when he was in Major Crimes, he instituted that as a set of eyes from people in the business that were retired that had some extra time on their hands.
Absolutely. So now he took it a step forward, and he actually assigned a full-time detective for this unit. So now that's my full-time job. That's what I do. And it's been successful. In December 2015, we solved a cold case homicide. And we're looking at hopefully having 2 more solved here soon. So we're moving along. It shows that this works. And let me clarify something. I don't like to use the term cold case because they're not cold to us. Okay, a lot of departments, they don't touch these cases unless new evidence comes along or new testimony.
Right, they literally sit in a box somewhere and they're cold.
That's a cold case. We never do that. We're proactive. We are always looking at these cases no matter what, because I'm going to tell you, there's always something you can do on these. There's always new technology coming out. There's new things you can do with DNA. There's new people you can talk to, because these people keep talking to people, right? They make new friends. They talk to new associates. So there's always something you can do on these cases. So I don't like to use the term cold case.
What's the term you refer to it as?
I call it unsolved homicide.
Unsolved homicide. And here's the thing. You make a very good point. We're talking with Sergeant Clint Smith of we'll go with the cold case unit, but it's unsolved homicide unit. And now the sheriff joins us. Good afternoon, Sheriff.
Hey, good afternoon, and happy to be here.
You make a good point about people can sometimes feel like they beat it. that they got away with murder, and 15 years down the road tell a new girlfriend or a new boyfriend, hey, let me tell you about this time I got away with murder.
Absolutely.
That's the kind of things you're talking about could change in an instance.
That's it. And it just takes that one person. And some of these cases, most of these cases, all we need is that little extra piece to solve it. So a lot of these, we know who did it, but we just need that little bit extra. And that's what we're always looking for. We're just looking for that one piece that's going to get it to where we need to go.
That's very interesting that you say a lot of these cases, you have a very good idea who did it. You just don't, people say, well, if you know who did it, why don't you arrest him? You don't have enough that the district attorney could take to court and get a conviction, is what you mean.
Yeah. We can arrest on probable cause. They have to be on a reasonable doubt. And we only have one shot at these guys, right? So we don't want to make an arrest on these cases and lose it in court or have the case dropped. So we work with them very closely to make sure that they're comfortable with the case when we make an arrest on it.
Now, Sheriff, this is the cold case unit, which originally you put back into position when you were a head of major crimes, and it was it was volunteer judges, lawyers, ex-detectives, retirees, people that had been in the business. When did you decide you needed to assign an actual sworn-in officer to this group as well?
Well, what happened was you got to remember that I have a family member that was murdered, but it was a murder-suicide type thing. So I understand the impact that it has on family, and I was at the Marion County Sheriff's Office and the we just call it Detective Bureau and in charge, and I had the opportunity to look at how many homicides do we have at the Marion County Sheriff's Office. So I had a sergeant there, and I asked him to go ahead and do a study on it, try to find out exactly where they were. And as you see, 48 hours or cold case where they go down in the basement and they pull the box out and then they try to solve that case. And so it was similar to there that, hey, we need to put recognition to these individuals, find out who they are, what they look like, find out about their family members. And so I asked him to do that study. He did the study. And then from that, I think at that time we had about 59 unsolved homicides, but that took you all the way back to 1958. So with that, I made a decision to reach out to many personal friends and detectives that I came up with, familiar with. One of them was my major at one time in Detective Bureau. I asked them if they would want to join a cold case group and actually establish it at the Sheriff's Office. So we did that in 2005.
And that was a volunteer group, though.
That's a volunteer group, and they came in, and at that time we had about 300 years of law enforcement experience. So dedicated team, and they started working on these cases. And
300 years versus 59 cases. I like the math there.
Yeah, it's a little better. And at the end of the day, we actually were very successful in getting a grant. It was a federal grant, one of 7 in the country, because we had that cold case team in place, as well as we had a DNA screening lab, which there's only 2 that exist in the state, which was established under my supervision, and Lieutenant Souter did a great job with it. So with those 2 avenues, we were able to get that grant. So we got 1 of 7. We worked on the cases. We solved one of the homicide cases during the time we had the grant. But then as we continue to move forward through the years, and I just felt like we really needed to have someone attached from the Sheriff's Office, which we had in the past. But I can just tell you it's about dedication and believing in the mission and the vision. And Clint does a great job here, and so he's attached to that. He's also helps me ramrod the one for the entire state, which we have 22 experts assigned to that one at this time. So he's done a remarkable job. He may have told you, he saw one back in December of last year. So, and they're working on some currently. Can't really get on them on the air here, but it's just been very successful, and I think that we're going to have more success in the future.
We're going to take a break. When we come back, this is so fascinating to me because I've read, because I, just like the sheriff, I'm a son of a murder victim. So I understand how it hits you too. And I'll tell you about, before we go to break, it took them 7 months before they got a break in my dad's case.
Mm-hmm. Wow.
And it was amazing the way they got it. I'll tell you about that. And I'll ask you some things about how we as a community can help you do your job better. Well, it is Ask the Cops, brought to you in part by Prestige Auto. We're talking with Sergeant Clint Smith of the Marion County Sheriff's Office and Sheriff Chris Blair. We're also going to talk to the Sheriff about a pillow case. Talk to him about that. I'm going to be honest with you. That caught me by surprise because the people that were arrested, I've been at their house for barbecues and stuff, so that caught me by surprise.
Wow.
We'll talk about that. Plus, you're pretty good at dodging punches. I see you moving and bobbing and weaving. You looked pretty good the other day on the stage. I gotta give you credit when you said, "Hey, all I know is crime's dropped 10%. What you gonna do with that?" We'll talk about more about that when we get back on Ask the Cops. Sheriff Chris Blair, Sergeant Clint Smith at the Marion County Sheriff's Office, right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day, whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands. At Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time. From beautiful townhomes to equestrian estates, Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club provides the perfect haven of elegance for any homeowner. Not to mention our championship golf course, award-winning tennis program, state-of-the-art spa, and new luxury equestrian suite. We offer an array of membership options to suit a variety of lifestyles. Call 352-369-6969 today for more information about our latest real estate offerings.
Gene Powell Pasture Mowing. Our tractor services include bush hog, disking, front-end loader, box blade, and stump grinding. We also have zero-turn mowers for the smaller paddocks, aisleways, fence rows, and lawn care. Fence row spraying is also available for weed control. We are licensed and insured. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing, 352-629-2440, or online at powellgene, Gene, at yahoo.com. Gene Powell Pasture Mowing.
Are you in need of custom screen printing, embroidery, or promotional items? Then look no further and come visit the brand new Legacy Team Sales. LTS is conveniently located off 17th Street next to Armstrong Homes in beautiful Ocala. We offer the best prices and highest quality products for your company, team, school, or nonprofit. Whether looking for screen printed shirts, embroidered polos, or travel team uniforms, you'll be sure to find it at Legacy Team Sales. Come visit our new 27,000 square foot facility. Our friendly and knowledgeable sales staff will assist you in every part of your custom purchase. LTS carries the hottest brands in the industry like Under Armour, Russell, Mizuno, Asics, Badger Sports, Gildan, Pacific, Ogio, and many more. At LTS, screen printing embroidery is done in-house and we guarantee customer satisfaction. Stop by, give us a call, or check us out on the web at shoplts.com. Remember the name, LTS.
At the car wash.
Is pollen turning your car yellow?
Does your truck look brown from so much dirt?
Well, Grace Presbyterian Youth and Sears are here to help. Come by the Sears Auto Center on Saturday, April 30th
from 10 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
And we will help turn your car back to its original color.
Car wash is free, but donations are accepted.
So don't forget, Saturday, April 30th, 10 to 2.
At Sears Auto Center.
The car wash.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala on a Ask the Cops Friday. Clint Smith, a sergeant with the Cold Case Unit of the Marion County Sheriff's Office, is with us, as well as Sheriff Chris Blair. Let's get back to these cases for a moment, because my father was beaten by 3 youths in Jacksonville in 1984. They tried to rob him coming out of a little store, and being the former Marine, you're never an ex-Marine. You only stop being a Marine when you die. So being a former Marine, kids say, "Give me your money, old man." He said, "Well, I mean, if you can get it." And so they did. They beat him to death with 2x4s, but nobody saw it. It was like 2:30 in the morning, and this was back in '84 when there weren't cameras on every corner and everything, And the case broke 6.5 months after it happened, because one of the kids was bragging about the old man they beat up on Pearl Street. In the carpet laying class at the skills center that happened to be taught by my mother's middle brother, who knew that my dad had been beat to death on Pearl Street about 6.5 months earlier. He overheard the conversation, went and called the police. The police come, and that's how the case was solved. That happens a lot in your business, doesn't it?
Sure. Yeah. Yeah, and that's what we talked about earlier with this last cold case we solved. It was just running their mouths, in jail, talking to inmates, bragging about what they did, and that's what solved it for us. How can the community help you in what you're doing? If there's loved ones or a cold case or something, what do you look for, or what can the community help you with that may be the thing that breaks a case for you? If you know something, say something. I don't care how small it is, even if you don't think it's important. It might be that I saw a guy with a pair of red tennis shoes on the same night at the convenience store down the road. Exactly. It can be that one little piece that helps us solve that case. And that's why we always look at these things. And if you go to our Facebook, Marion County Sheriff's Office Facebook, we have a story on there on a cold case, Roberta Johnson. This is a 17-year-old I read case. That. And this is what we're looking for. We're putting that out there because we're looking for that one person. Somebody saw something. Somebody heard something. He had to tell somebody. Somebody had to talk about this. So if you know something, say something. That's all we ask. You can do it anonymously. You can go through Crime Stoppers. You can call the sheriff's office, however, but just let us know about it. That's what you always say, isn't it, Sheriff? If you see something that doesn't look right, call us and let us know about it. There's no dumb calls to the sheriff's department if you think something's suspicious. It only takes one little tiny lead, and you may not be important to you as it will be important to us because you don't know the whole totality of the case. And we may be looking for that one little piece that you actually are holding, and that's why we want you to make sure you notify us so we can follow up with it. So, and I know you mentioned kind of like a Craigslist post. Yeah, similar to that, but I know you mentioned how the community can help, and I tell you what we did also, and it's kind of interesting. We're always thinking outside the box at the sheriff's office. So when I was back there and we put the cold case team together, went ahead and looked at all these individuals, the 59 that I was telling you about, and we made a board. And it's actually our cold case homicide board. And the ones that we had were able to get photographs from out of the boxes and from family members are actually on that board. So all the cases are represented on the board. The Florida Department of Law Enforcement puts it together for us. We just recently updated it about 2 years ago. So as we have them in our districts, we have them on our website. So we put them out. I think there's one in the courthouse. I have one in my office. Kind of like a most wanted, but most wanted to be solved. Exactly. And I have one in my office, and there's probably not a case in there that I don't know about because somewhere along the way I've been involved in a lot of those cases because, that's where I came from. Back in the 80s, I started in major crime, so I spent many a year over there. So I had these homicide cases and solved many of them, but you got some that just went unsolved. So they're on that board, and we just asked
our community to always, try to take a look at these photographs and see if anything that you can think of or family members that you may know and any leads that you can come up with that you can possibly notify us with. So that's why we have them out there. And I think the families really appreciate the fact that they're never forgotten. So that's why we keep them out in the forefront.
Sergeant Smith, does it help you mentally to always have a reminder through photos and everything of all the victims?
Absolutely. And I was just telling Roberta Johnson's daughter, Arkisha Johnson, yesterday, that's what inspires me to keep doing what I'm doing. This has been 17 years, and you know how difficult it must be for her to go on the TV
no closure.
And do this, but she does it. I called her last minute and said, hey, I know you have to work, but can you do an interview at Fox 35 tomorrow? Absolutely, I'll be there. I don't care what I got to do. That inspires me. If she's willing to do that, then I'm willing to work the extra hours. I'm willing to work those holidays for her. Because she hasn't given up, I'm not going to give up.
I worked I did a lot of searching, going on 5 years now, for not Lacey Gardner, but the young lady that went missing in, that went missing, Lacey Beneful, that went missing in the forest. Mm-hmm. I went out there Saturdays, on Sundays, walked with the people that were there. Mm-hmm. We looked and searched. I bet that's a file on your desk now. Or is that still an open investigation? Well, what's the difference between the files on your desk and an open investigation in a homicide unit?
Putnam County, right?
Lake County.
Was it Lake County now? Lake County does have that one now?
And we still...
But what's the difference between, when does it go from being a homicide case at the homicide department and get to where it's your case where you and the volunteers are looking at it?
Yeah, and again, I look at it, and as the board says, it's unsolved homicides. So really, we can look at any of them that are unsolved. But we tend to, if the detectives are working that case and they're still there, it stays with them. If it needs to come to us, if they feel that we can do something for them or help them out, we're happy to. But again, I look at whatever comes our way. If it's unsolved, let's take it.
Unsolved, it's unsolved. Whether it's been 6 months or 6 years, you'll try to solve it.
And we go back to talking about the boards we put together. We're able to take that a step further now with Facebook, and the sheriff really put that out there, and it's been a great tool for us. We put this video out on Facebook. It's already had over 60,000 views. You know how important that is, that 60,000 people have saw this video, and they see not just that Roberta Johnson, she was killed, but they see that she has a daughter, somebody that cares about her, and they can see her crying on this interview and understand that, this is important to somebody.
Putnam County, I used to live there, and Putnam County did the same thing. I was real good friends with Jeff Hardy over there and the sheriff over there. And he, back in the day when the United States was putting out the player cards, the aces they wanted to find, the terrorists, the kings and all, he put out a 52-card deck, actually 56 cards with jokers and everything, of 56 unsolved homicides, and you could get those playing cards at all kind of different places, and it had the information of who had been, what the homicide was, when it had occurred, and everything. And that's the kind of thinking out of the box that I think needs to be done to solve these homicides. So we're going to talk to Chris Spears after the break, but then I want to come back to you, Sheriff, because we need to get in. We need to give credit where credit is due on this joint operation between multi-counties that. You had the press conference in the Marion County Sheriff's Office about the pillowcase burglars.
Great job.
And the job that was done there. And tell us an update on whatever you can tell us on that. I know it's an ongoing investigation, but we'll get the latest on that. We'll also find out, I'm sure you got about 1,500 more kiosks going in somewhere around the city or the state. Or maybe, I think I heard somebody from Idaho has called and they need 10. I think that.
You never know.
You can get them to them. Now, coming up next, Chris Spears joins us. Go see the Yes Man at Prestige Auto. That's Chris Spears. It is a Friday. It's Ask the Cops. You're listening to us right here from the WOCA studios. Chris Spears coming up next, then more with Ask the Cops. We'll also take your calls if you'd like to ask a question. 622-9622 on a Friday afternoon. You're listening to 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, WOCA, The Source.
Your quality of life is meant to be fully enjoyed each day. The doctors at Ayers Global understand that and strive to provide a quality of life for you that has no equal. Ayers Therapeutic Services combines naturopathic and family medicine to help all your health needs. Diabetic management, hypertension, pain management, and anti-aging are just a few of the services offered by the Ayers family. Call 352-512-0222 today, and Ayers Therapeutic Services will help you begin to understand that better health begins with you.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name.
Are you in the process of planning your wedding reception? Or are you planning that birthday party for someone special? Or maybe you're just looking to throw a party for yourself? Are you in charge of this year's company outing and looking for something fresh and fun to do? Well, KT Entertainment is your answer to all those questions. We provide music, trivia, and karaoke for everybody's enjoyment. If you would like to get in touch with KT Entertainment and find out about our competitive prices, call us at 352-512-2611. That's 352-512-2611. Or you can find us on the web at kt4fun.com. That's KT, the number 4, fun.com. So remember, whether it's a wedding reception, a party, or a company outing, it's KT Entertainment for all your karaoke, trivia, or musical needs.
Fox News Radio, I'm Lillian Wu. More protests against Donald Trump today. That in Burlingame, California, where Trump speaks at the state's Republican convention. Protests against the GOP frontrunner yesterday ending with some 20 people arrested. Ted Cruz gets a boost just days before the Indiana primary. From Governor Mike Pence.
Cruz says he welcomes Pence's support in a must-win contest to force a contested convention against frontrunner Donald Trump, who also tweeted at the same time saying, "Thank you, Indiana." Trump 41 to Cruz 32 in the latest average of Indiana polls.
Fox Radio's Jeff Manasso. And a friend of the alleged Charleston church shooter pleading guilty to lying to federal authorities during their investigation, also revealing that Dylan Roof told him he planned to kill himself after the mass killing. Fox News, we report. You decide.
Today's forecast for the inside of your vehicle, sponsored by WeatherTech. A 90% chance of nacho cheese storms this afternoon, moving in from a drive-through worker answering a phone while serving you, leading to a real messy day. For the weekend, conditions are perfect for a sandstorm developing, caused by a day at the beach, with flip-flops and towels contributing there. For folks living with an SUV, watch out for a big mess in the back developing later from a bag of mulch and compost. Conditions are ripe.
Spills, mud, dirt, and sand can ruin the floor of your car, truck, or SUV. The best way to protect your vehicle's floor is with WeatherTech floor liners and cargo liners. Made of the highest quality materials and laser measured, WeatherTech floor liners are specifically designed for your vehicle. And they're made in America. Protect yourself from the elements inside your vehicle. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech. Complete protection, completely American made.
Hi, this is JP from Penn Flooring here in Ocala. I would like to invite you to come in and visit our spacious showroom where we have solutions for every style and budget. From wall-to-wall carpet to hardwood floors and tiles, we have an unsurpassed selection of flooring. At Penn Flooring, we've provided quality customer service with a family touch for over 25 years. Visit our website at pennflooring.com or come by our showroom, 1201 Southwest 17th Street, just over the bridge. Penn Flooring, quality customer service with a family touch.
Yeah, I'm that drip coming down from the corner of the room. But where did I come from? I'll never tell.
Bone Dry Roofing can and will fix it right the first time using quality materials and will deal honestly and fairly with you, period. You can find Bone Dry Roofing on their website, bonedryroofingllc.com, and Facebook at Bone Dry Roofing LLC. Do it right before your roof needs a tarp to keep the elements out. Bone Dry Roofing stands behind their work to help make your home safe and secure. Plus, they have financing available. Remember, if you're not bone dry, then you're all wet.
On Mondays, AM Ocala Live, Bern Paresa will be speaking to Robin and I. She is our medical correspondent and the president of Good for All Marketing.
News Bites, the hottest news and current events served bite-sized.
And then Charlotte Reed will be on with us. She's a pet expert. She's speaking about the Triple Crown of Thoroughbred Racing, the Kentucky Derby, the Preakness, and the Belmont Stakes.
Charles Shields is an American biographer of mid-century novelist. He's written a new book called Mockingbird, a portrait of Harper Lee, from scout to go set a watchman.
Ron Krajewski will be on, a professional artist who took up drawing while stationed with the Air Force in Saudi Arabia. He's speaking to us about his book, Painting with Metro, how a crippled racehorse rescued himself and me with a paintbrush.
Heather Sulzbach is an advanced oncology nurse practitioner. She'll be speaking about the myths and realities of the BRCA gene and BRCA testing for breast and ovarian cancer.
All of that plus fun with Joe on Mondays, AM Ocala Live, right here on The Source, WOCA 96.3 FM.
1370 AM.
Welcome back to the Voice of Ocala on Ask the Cops Friday, brought to you in part by Prestige Auto. Go see Chris Spears, the Yes Man. Matter of fact, we have him on the line right now. Good afternoon, Chris.
Hello, Thomas. Good to hear your voice, and I hear you got some heavyweights with you today, as well as your backup man, Luke. Everything good in the studio?
Everything's good. Hey, I got a sergeant with the Marion County Sheriff's Department, Clint Smith, and the head of the Marion County Sheriff's Department itself, Sheriff Chris Blair here. This is not the room you want any shenanigans in right now.
No. They, I feel I sleep good at night with those guys at the helm, and even though I didn't get to attend the debate the other night, I read some different things, and I was probably the one that caught my eye the most was Sheriff Blair's daughter. Had kudos for her dad on his posture and his positive. Maintenance during the thing. And I know when you're the guy at the helm, everybody else has stuff to talk about, but because I'm that guy at the helm too, but it's always good to watch a guy stay above the fray.
Thank you.
Chris, going to be a great weekend this weekend. It's going to be a nice, warm weekend, perfect weekend for people to come out and see if you may be able to put them in a new car at Prestige.
Yes, sir. We're that's what we do. People call me from all over. We're just truly blessed. We have probably 6,000 or 7,000 online shoppers a month visit our website, and just all day long we're fielding questions, answering things. I've got a man coming up from Georgia tomorrow morning to pick up an Altima, and another family from down in Tampa area to look at a Sienna van, and as well as all the folks that just live around us. But we have just a blessed with an enormous amount of opportunity, and it's really our daily challenge, as it is with any business or large organization like the sheriff runs, for the people just to come in prepared to serve with the right mindset. You know, the win in my business, as I'm sure it does in the sheriff's, is done before people punch in, and if they can come in with their hearts right and the right message in mind, that the rest of the day seems to fall into place. It helps us overcome those challenges. I know there's no challenges in the radio business, but me and the sheriff can probably relate to that.
Yeah. There's no challenges in the radio business. Sure. Chris, and you can help everyone from that's got an 800 beacon score all the way down to people whose beacon score may be a little damaged. You can help them all because you try to make a friend to see if you can help, and sometimes the truth is you can't help, but you try to help everybody you can and counsel those that you can't help. Is that correct?
Well, yes, sir. We try. There's certainly a lot of money available, and especially it seems like money's always the most available to those that don't need it. I had a Spanish woman I spoke with for probably half hour in Daytona yesterday, and she was just so shell shocked because she'd spent the previous weekend out looking and just really felt like she got beat up in the process. And I told her we don't, our in-house financing, we don't even, the beacon score is not really part of the quotation. And we look at a loan that's going to succeed in the customer's ability to pay. And life happens to everybody. It says in the Bible, it rains on the just and the unjust. So, I know people's jobs get challenged and people get sick and can't pay things. So, but if it's the right time and the smart time, then your Beacon score is really not part of the conversation on you getting a car at Prestige Auto Sales.
Chris, if I want to put you on the spot now, if I'm looking for a car under right about that $10,000 range or a little under between $6,000 and $10,000, give me the one spotlight car that you got right off the top of your head.
Oh boy. I have 137 cars, I think, when I looked this morning, and I probably have 60 under that. And it's almost like asking a father which of his daughters does he like more. It's I have an enormous amount of people come in and bring me cars. I had a 2010 Mercedes come in this week. A lady, a retired engineer from a Caterpillar, came in and sold me her Mercedes SUV. Just beautiful. I had another family come in and sell me their father's car now that he's not driving, a beautiful little Toyota. So I would say if you're out here, with the 50 or 60 that I have under 10,000, I probably have 20 that I would probably lead the family to, depending on if they're looking for. We just got in a nice Toyota van that's under 10,000 miles. But everybody's needs a little differently. But that's a big question. But I think they're all great, but it really depends on the customer's needs, and that's where it starts, because it really doesn't come from a basis of what I want to sell. It's what fits the customer's need, and sometimes that doesn't include selling a car. I've lent people money to fix their cars before. I lent a fellow not too long ago $1,800 and let him fix his Dakota transmission, because that was better than borrowing $15,000 for his family. So it's really just a sit down conversation and finding out what works.
I knew you were going to say, when I asked you which one's your spotlight car, you were going to say that's hard to do, because I got 20 or 30 of them that all can be spotlight cars. Hey, Chris, much luck to you this weekend and your
much love to you.
Yeah, in your endeavors, and keep those future WNBA stars with their head, out of the clouds, so they can keep their nose to the grindstone.
Always good, sir, and I appreciate what you do, Thomas and Luke, there in the station, the quiet hero in the station, and then Sergeant Clint Smith, and obviously Sheriff Blair for what they do and protecting us in the days ahead.
Thanks, sir.
Thanks so much, Chris. I wanted to say Blair there. Chris Spears, Prestige Auto. PrestigeForYou.com.
I'm the less famous Chris. The less famous.
PrestigeForYou.com. That's Prestige, the number 4, the letter U.com. Chris, talk to you next week.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, gentlemen.
Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Boy, I just fumbled all through that, didn't I?
You did all right.
That's why I played linebacker. You don't ever want to give me the ball, actually, and try to let me carry it. I can hit people. I can't really carry the football very well. Sheriff, we got to talk about a case that last week, when you were here 2 weeks ago, you said you couldn't talk too much about, but now we can talk about it, because there was a press conference held at the Marion County Sheriff's Office earlier this week, and a case was solved, a case that had a lot of people on edge, because it was happening when you're most vulnerable. There's something about when you come home and you can tell that somebody that doesn't live in your house has been there and taken stuff from you that just unnerves you. And you're able to tell Marion County residents, we can take an easy breath now.
Well, I think what's important is that, you feel violated. Somebody comes into your house and you're not home, and certainly we hope you're not home when they come in, but they violate you because they make entry into your home, they steal property, and then, of course, it's our responsibility to try to go out and capture them and find them. So with that said, these two individuals were, very, very dangerous. We knew they were very, very dangerous. We knew that we had information that possibly linked them to a couple homicides, one here and one in Citrus County. And,
wow.
So, I'll just tell you, Tom, that I've always taken these type of crimes very seriously. I met with my captain and I said, look, you know what, we can't sit on this. We got to move forward. So I immediately, because, I dispersed my team, so because of the manpower issue, but I immediately took them back. Some of them, I took 4 lieutenants. I pulled them out of the districts. They had investigative experience as lieutenants, and then I took 4 other ones that were in them teams and with investigative experience. We hooked them up with the property crime guys. But primarily that team did an unbelievable job in partnerships with all the other agencies. There's 4 other agencies involved in that investigation. So they all came together as one team, one unit, and, a lot of undercover work.
It was Citrus, Levy, Alachua, and Marion County, correct?
Yes, and we had Wilson PD as well in there. So there was multiple counties. But
60 plus burglaries.
Yeah, and that's what we suspect at this point, and it could be additional more. But the big thing was the homicide case that we had in Citrus County as well as the one in Marion. So when you have information like that, the most we could do is go out and tell the citizens, hey, we want you to be cautious at home. We want you to lock your doors, keep your garages down, be cautious of what's around you, report any activity. And so we were trying to get the word out at the same time and trying to do the investigation so that we could apprehend these individuals. So I'm just telling you that I was in the middle of that, being briefed quite often on the activities that were occurring. And, whatever the guys and the teams needed, we definitely, as leaders, definitely gave it to them. They traveled throughout this county and out of county, and, they just did a remarkable job.
I have to say, when I woke up Monday morning, was it Monday or Tuesday? I forget what day. When I woke up, and the first thing I do is I pick up my phone, and as sad as that sounds, that's the first thing I do. And I pressed open, and there on the front page, and it was on clickorlando.com out of Orlando, Channel 6, pillowcase burglaries have been solved. And, they got 2 people in custody. And I panned down and I looked at the pictures. This is people I've been to barbecues with.
It's amazing.
I mean, I looked at my girlfriend and said, we've eaten with these people.
That should give you a chill.
It did. I thought, how close were we to be in one of these people that may have ended up getting burglarized? Because they, I mean, I know him. He knows me. I got some stuff in my house that would sell pretty good.
Right.
And I mean, I've never in my 49 years, 9 months, and 2 days had somebody that I knew that close that has been charged with the heinous crimes that, hadn't been charged, but looks like will be eventually charged with the heinous crimes that were committed. It really, really shook me Monday or Tuesday morning when I saw this, that you always tell us your famous things are, if you don't think it can happen here, you're wrong, because it can happen here. And you always think, that ain't going to happen. If it happens here, it won't be somebody that I know, because I don't run with those kind of people.
Well, apparently you did.
The hell with that. I guess I did.
Yep. So, but anyway, I think the important thing is, and I know our victims are certainly happy with the results of that investigation. But now the work really begins. They're out there.
Now you've apprehended them. Now you got to go to work.
Yeah. Now they got to work. They got to look at all the evidence. They got to process it. They got to go through it. It's got to go to the Florida Department of Law Enforcement. Now they got to link all these cases together to them. So there's just so much work that's got to be done. It's just not Marion County. I just have to tell you, it's throughout the other counties.
That's what people don't realize about investigations. Is once you apprehend a suspect in an investigation is like an anthill. For every inch above the ground, it's a foot below the ground.
That's right.
So when an investigation, once you apprehend them, that's just the tip of it. Now you really go to work.
Yes.
The hard work's been accomplished. Now the really hard work starts.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think the big thing is that we, as detectives, Clint can speak to it too, is that once we take somebody into custody, then we find out normally that they've been involved in unlawful activities elsewhere.
Certainly.
So, it makes you wonder, I know he was from New York, so, so we'll be checking with the authorities up there for unsolved cases, and we'll send things out nationwide just to see if there's any link to him, and they'll do comparison with DNA and some other stuff. But that's what usually happens.
Just chilling. We got to take a break. When we come back, we'll wrap up Ask the Cops. We're talking with Sergeant Clint Smith of the Cold Case Unit here with the Marion County County Sheriff's Office. Sheriff Chris Blair, we'll ask Sheriff Blair if he's got any town halls coming up or if he's got any activities he wants to talk about coming up. And we'll also ask him about maybe a concealed carry class because, concealed carry maybe not something that a burglar wants to come and try to mess with a pillowcase in your house if you got one of those. We'll talk about that next as we wrap up. Ask the Cops. Coming up in hour number 2, it's Family Matters with Dr. Marsha Morris. And then Ask the Cops. All that yet to come right here on the Friday edition of The Voice of Ocala on WOCA, The Source.
Michelob Ultra is more than a superior light beer. It's taking in all life has to offer, like catching a wave or biking a long trail. And when you're done, you reach for a cold Michelob Ultra. Fewer carbs, fewer calories, more to look forward to. Michelob Ultra. Long live the Ultra Life. Enjoy responsibly. Michelob Ultra Light Beer, 95 calories, 2.6 carbs, 0.6 grams protein, and 0 grams fat per 12-ounce serving. Anheuser-Busch, St. Louis, Missouri.
Hello, I'm Dawn Lovell, lead event designer and owner at Party Time Rentals. Have you ever wondered what it takes to make an event spectacular? Well, look no further. It's what we do every day, whether you're hosting an intimate dinner for 10 or a gala for thousands. At Party Time Rentals, we find just the right style and elegance to make your event a success. Our extensive inventory of the finest in chandeliers, tents, crystal, china, and specialty items is featured in our fabulous showroom. Stop by and say hello. It's a great way to get ideas for an event and experience for yourself how you can make your party time special.
Party Time Rentals, located on Southwest 10th Street, just off Route 200 in Ocala, and off Southwest 34th Street in Gainesville. For more information, call 352-629-8858. That's 352-629-8858. The party begins at Party Time.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name.
Hey, Matt, I know Sunrise Automotive does auto stuff, but I need some tires for my truck. Can you recommend someone?
Yes, I can. We do that.
No, I mean, I need them installed and balanced and all that.
Yep, we do that.
Well, my son needed his windows tinted.
Yep, we do that.
I need my seat replaced.
Yep, we do that too.
I need a new roof line, and a new spoiler, and a new trunk.
Yep, we can even do that too.
Okay, I get it. I suppose you can also do a radio show too.
Well, as a matter of fact, join me, Matt Gibbs from Sunrise Automotive, every Tuesday at 10 for auto repair with personal care right here on The Source.
At the car wash. Whoa, whoa, whoa.
Is pollen turning your car yellow?
Does your truck look brown from so much dirt?
Well, Grace Presbyterian Youth and Sears are here to help. Come by the Sears Auto Center on Saturday, April 30th
from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m.
and we will help turn your car back to its original color.
The car wash is free, but donations are accepted.
So don't forget, Saturday, April 30th, 10 to 2.
At Sears Auto Center.
At the car wash.
Hey, I'm Gary. And I'm Eric. Did you know that Red Eye Radio is on WOCA The Source every night from 2 to 6 a.m. and it's live?
That's right. No tape shows here.
We know that the news doesn't sleep.
And neither do we. So we're here with you live from 2 till 6 a.m. every weekday. Call us 866-90-RED-EYE. So join me, Gary McNamara.
And me, Eric Harley, every weeknight to discuss the latest in news and entertainment.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
WWWOCA, WWWOCA.
Be sure to tune in to Ocala's longest running morning radio talk show.
AM Ocala Live from 7 a.m. till noon weekdays.
Right here on WOCA The Source.
Visit the WOCA website at www.woca.com.
Welcome back to wrap up hour number 1, Ask the Cops. Sheriff Blair, you got anything coming up?
Yeah, we got the Sheriff's Office is participating with the Drug Enforcement Administration. It's a National Prescription Drug Take Back Initiative. It's tomorrow, and it'll be at several locations. Real quick, South Marion District Office, that's in the Villages. Southwest District Office, which is there on 80th Street, out at 99,000 block of 200. We got the South Multi-District office there at 3260 Southeast 80th Street, and the Central Operations Center there is downtown Ocala. So if you have any prescription medications that you need to drop off, we'll be there from 10 to 2 p.m., and certainly we would like to collect them from you if you have no more needs for them.
Thanks, Sheriff. Sergeant Clinton Smith, any last thoughts?
Yeah, let's see, May 16th, we're having our Cold Case Advisory Committee meeting in Brevard County. This is the team that the Florida Sheriff's Association put together, and we review cold cases throughout the state. Sheriff's the chair on this board and committee, and we're committed to solving these cases throughout the state.
Very good. Sergeant Smith, thanks so much for joining us today. Sheriff Blair, thank you for coming in. I want to say also thank you for 4 years of safety.
All right, appreciate it. Thank you.
We got crime down and everything, and one is I know you see me every week, so I ain't committed no crimes. That's contributing to keeping it down.
Yeah, that helps.
I'm real sure of that. So, and keep plugging away no matter what they say to you.
You know what's important is we got dedicated men and women at Marion County Sheriff's Office, and that and I think that's where we got to go. We just ask for everyone to keep them in their prayers. It's a tough job out there, and across this entire nation, law enforcement's pretty well under attack, and we just got to keep them safe.
That is well said. Sheriff Chris Blair, the Marion County Sheriff's Office, Sergeant Clint Smith of the Cold Case Unit of the Marion County Sheriff's Department. Thanks so much for being here. Like I said, I'd like to thank both of them for being here as my guest. I also want to thank Chris Spears for checking in with us, he always does. And Luke Sylvia, the silent, what did he say you were? The silent what?
I don't remember.
Yeah, and
something silent.
That's why we shouldn't remember, because you're not worth the compliment. Hey, but Luke,
yeah, there you go. That's what I deal with.
Pressing all the right buttons. Coming up next is Family Matters with Dr. Marcia Morris. And in the 5 o'clock hour, you get to hear Coach Jim McElwain talk about the outlook of the Gators coming up this year. All that yet to come on a Friday edition of the Voice of Ocala right here on 1370 AM, 96.3 FM. WOCA, The Source.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life, from everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
This is Kendall Carpenter with Golden Ocala Golf and Equestrian Club. I want to introduce you to the finest equestrian opportunity available. If you love horses and enjoy Central Florida's mild climate and rich rolling landscape, come explore Golden Ocala. Bridle trails weave their way through this stunningly beautiful community of stately homes. Our state-of-the-art equestrian center will meet all of your equestrian needs with style. Visit us at goldenocala.com.
Do you suffer with frequent migraines? If you've experienced several migraines each month for at least the past year, you may qualify for a clinical research study. To find out more information about this study, please call Rinstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. All study medications and study-related procedures are at no cost to you, and insurance is not required. Compensation for time and travel will be provided. Again, if you suffer frequent migraines, please call Renstar Medical Research in Ocala at 352-629-5800. That's 352-629-5800. Renstar Medical Research, seeking tomorrow's answers to the health questions of today.
Each morning, we wake up thankful to live in a free nation with liberty and justice for all. But sometimes those liberties can be put in jeopardy, and you may have questions about what to do or who to call. Let Doc Blanchard of Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland help you find the answers. Attorneys at law since 1974 and located in downtown Ocala. If you have legal issues, don't go it alone. Call 352-732-7218. Blanchard, Miriam, Adele, and Kirkland, helping protect your liberties every day.
Here's what you may have missed on the John Tesh Radio Show.
80% of the super rich people in his study made a habit of associating with other success-minded individuals. They also consciously avoided toxic, negative people. It's nobody's business whether you're married, engaged, or starting a family because that's considered pregnancy discrimination. Dark chocolate contains more antioxidants, called flavanols, than any fruit or vegetable out there. Surprised?
Intelligence for your life on the John Tesh Radio Show. Don't miss this stuff.
Good credits, bad credits. It's none of our business because we're not an auto dealer. We're not a bank. We're not your mother. We're OcalaForSale.com. Marion County's marketplace for cars, trucks, and SUVs. We've got thousands of sellers standing by to take your call. No middleman. But hurry, don't walk, don't run. Just sit down and log on to OcalaForSale.com. Prices and inventory change daily. Offer does not include dealer upcharge, undercutting, rust proofing, factory surcharge, or delivery fee. See website for details.
Hi, I'm Leah Caruso with Strive Rehabilitation, inviting you to join me Thursday at 11 a.m. for Health Matters. Ocala Health and Strive have teamed up to bring you the latest information on good health services available to you right here at home. This vital information will help you make informed decisions about your health. So don't forget to join me here at 11 a.m. Thursday. It's news you can use from Ocala Health, Strive, and your friends here at WOCA.
Putting the local back into radio. 24 hours a day, 365 days a year. WOCA News. Variety. Information. Now. Keep your arms and legs on the inside at all times.
The most trusted name in news, Fox News, every half hour, only on 96.3 FM, 1370 AM, The Source.
WOCA.
Broadcasting from the Paddock Mall Studios, this is WOCA, Ocala, Gainesville, The Villages, 1370 AM, 96.3 FM, The Source.
Fox News Radio, I'm Karen McHugh. Protests in Burlingame, California, outside a hotel where Donald Trump is about to speak to GOP leaders.
You can see these protesters picking up the barricades and tossing them aside. It's been a relatively peaceful protest for the past few hours, but just now, with the arrival of the Republican frontrunner, things are getting heated.
Fox's Claudia Cowan. The Russians are at it again. An Su-27 jet fighter did a barrel roll over an unarmed U.S. recon plane in international airspace. The Russian jet reportedly flew within 100 feet of the American. She's not a press secretary, but has played one on TV.
Josh is out today. He has, I believe it's a root canal. But let's be honest, I'm better at this than he is.
Actress Allison Janney, who portrayed C.J. Craig on TV's The West Wing, in a surprise appearance at today's White House briefing. In reality, she was there to raise awareness of the opioid epidemic. Fox News. We report, you decide.
Today's forecast for the inside of your vehicle, sponsored by WeatherTech. A 90% chance of nacho cheese storms this afternoon, moving in from a drive-through worker answering a phone while serving you, leading to a real messy day. For the weekend, conditions are perfect for a sandstorm developing, caused by a day at the beach, with flip-flops and towels contributing there. For folks living with an SUV, watch out for a big mess in the back developing later from a bag of mulch and compost. Conditions are ripe.
Spills, mud, dirt, and sand can ruin the floor of your car, truck, or SUV. The best way to protect your vehicle's floor is with WeatherTech floor liners and cargo liners. Made of the highest quality materials and laser measured, WeatherTech floor liners are specifically designed for your vehicle. And they're made in America. Protect yourself from the elements inside your vehicle. Order yours today at WeatherTech.com or call 1-800-CarMats. WeatherTech. Complete protection, completely American made.
Yes, it's time again for Buddy Martin. Call him up and tell him what you're thinking. But be kind because he's doing the best he can.
I'm just sick of all the amateur stuff, I mean, like, if I'm paying top dollar, I want a little production value, like some editing, transition, some music.
Don't worry, we didn't leave you.
He's gone? He's not gone. That's the whole point. He's never gone.
Our bosses say we gotta stay.
Check out the name tag. You're in my world now, Grandma.
Bow to your sensei. Bow to your sensei. It's time for the second hour of The Voice of Ocala. Hoo-ah!
You ever come across anything like time travel?
Come on, stick around. It's free.
If you win, you win. If you lose, you still win.
Time now for Family Matters with Dr. Marcia Morris. She's a psychiatrist at the University of Florida. And today she's talking about keeping calm in the age of anxiety with some special guests later on the show, Grace Lee, owner of Yoga in Ocala. So we'll be talking to Grace Lee later. But first of all, welcome back, Dr. Morris.
Well, thank you, Buddy. And I'm very glad to be talking about really one of my favorite topics, which is anxiety. It's the most common problem I see in my office as a psychiatrist. I call it the bread and butter of my practice. And it's also a very treatable condition. So today I'll be talking about what is anxiety and the different kinds of anxiety, but also the treatments that you can do either yourself or obtain from a medical professional.
We had this conversation on our regular show during the week about people who had fixations or are semi-paranoid about things and what set them off. One person was afraid of clowns. I mean, you're set off by a variety of topics, and anxiety, as you say, is very common. And we had one young lady here who said she was anxious about everything she does. So there's that issue, and it's something that, we might take for granted, but it is something to be dealt with, isn't it?
Yes, and it's really common in our society. In a year's time, 1 in 5 people have been diagnosed with an anxiety disorder, and in their life, 1 in 4 people will have an anxiety disorder. But only a third of people who have an anxiety disorder actually get treatment, which is really unfortunate because it is so treatable. So, as we talk today, I want to encourage people to listen to learn about anxiety, and if they do have anxiety, to get help for it. They shouldn't just accept that this is a way of life.
And anybody can have it, as you said.
Right.
I'm a person that I'm pretty well grounded. I don't have those issues, but I've had several times in my life, periods, when I had trouble getting on the elevators. I've never had problems before or since then, but that one period of time, and then one time in the cockpit of a small airplane, sitting across Terry Bradshaw going across country, I got anxiety, obviously claustrophobic, and those are things you're talking about, right?
Right, and that's what we call a simple phobia, which is the most common kind of anxiety where you're afraid of one specific thing. But anxiety is pervasive, and it's a common experience. We've all had anxiety at some point. And I work with college students, and there was a study that showed over 50% of students had extreme anxiety at least some point within the last year that gets in the way of school. So it's so common, and if we can find ways to deal with it, our lives can be so much better. It's just part of the human experience.
Isn't a little bit of anxiety good? I mean, I hear actors and athletes say all the time they get very uptight. Some of them go out and throw up before a performance. You have that kind of anxiety, and sometimes that gets your body and mind ready. Talk about that aspect of anxiety.
Well, actually, I wanted to talk about what you're saying, too, about adaptive anxiety, the good kind of anxiety, and agree with you that...
Am I getting ahead of the show? I'm sorry. Well, go ahead. I didn't mean to get ahead.
But that's okay. But, we all have to have some anxiety in life, or we won't be motivated to do anything. So if you're a student and you have a test coming up, you need to feel a little bit uncomfortable about it and have your heart rate go up a little bit to motivate you to study. So that's a healthy kind of anxiety. It's motivating. It's a little alarm going off. I need to do something. Now with maladaptive anxiety.
Now what is that?
That's when you have anxiety that's beyond helpful, beyond what's going on. Like if you have an exam, instead of like getting a little bit worried and studying, you might just feel overwhelmed by anxiety to the point that you can't study. And it's our kind of systems on overload. And one metaphor I use is it's like an alarm clock that's going on. Like your anxiety is like an alarm clock and it just keeps ringing and ringing and you can't turn it off. And the most extreme kind of anxiety is a panic attack where you have several symptoms at once where it's hard to catch your breath. You feel like you're going to faint.
Hyperventilating?
Right. You can be hyperventilating. You can feel dizzy and lightheaded and nauseous. And you don't know what it is. You think, am I getting sick? Am I dying? And it's an anxiety attack. And the symptoms usually peak after 10 minutes. And then they go away about after 30 minutes. But I've seen young people, like people in their late teens and early 20s, go to the emergency room thinking they're having a heart attack when they're having a panic attack because it's such an uncomfortable feeling. And anyone who's had an anxiety attack knows what I'm talking about. It's really unpleasant and really hard to control.
Well, there are ways to deal with this, and Dr. Marsha Morris is going to tell us some of those today. When you have anxiety, a few tips on what you can do, and of course, you want professional help if it's over the top, high anxiety, or something is causing you palpitations or whatever. More coming your way with Dr. Marsha Morris on common anxiety disorders and effective treatment. Stay tuned to the program called Family Matters right here on The Source.
More with Dr. Marsha Morris and Buddy Martin on Family Matters, right here on the Voice of Ocala.
Like a good neighbor, State Farm is there. And so is State Farm agent Angie Lewis, working hard to serve her community as a citizen and insurance agent. Angie wants to help you as you adjust your insurance needs to your life. From everything to helping educate your teen driver to protecting your family against everyday risk. She wants to change the way you perceive insurance by developing relationships with her clients, which is why Angie and her staff are proud to be a part of so many good causes in Ocala. In turn, she has chosen to single out those who step up as leaders. Each month on the Voice of Ocala, Angie spotlights a good neighbor, saluting those who give exceptional service or do random acts of kindness to others. For this, Angie was written up in State Farm's National Magazine. Angie also supports local businesses with a regular Biz Buzz.
Hi, I'm State Farm agent Angie Lewis. Come see me and my team for all your insurance and financial needs in the beautiful downtown historic district, 416 East Fort King Street, or call 291-2444.
Need a car? Need financing? Need somebody to cut through the red tape and send you rolling down the highway? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Got great credit and just prefer a quality pre-owned car at a fair price from somebody you can trust? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Want to avoid high pressure to feel appreciated and be able to choose from a wide selection of AutoCheck and Carfax certified vehicles? Prestige Auto Sales is the place to go. Prestige Auto Sales in Ocala. Prestige. It's all there in our name.
This is Kendall Carter.